All right, we're here. So, if you've followed me at any point in my tenure on this website, you would know that the content that I make is generally positive. I like talking about things that I love because why spend time focusing on negative things is not really worth it. I know that's how you may get popular on YouTube. Film criticism, especially on the website, tends to skewer towards negativity, but I like to talk more about positive stuff. That being said, sorry, I don't know if that was a voice crack or not, but if it was, I apologize. There are some movies that you see that you just need to put in their place. And I finally came across one of those on April Fool's Day of all days, actually, and it is called The Bubble by Judd Apatow. Now, I had seen previews for this, and I was looking at it, and I was like, yeah, this is going to be bad. I'm not a big fan of Judd Apatow's filmography in general. I think that Judd Apatow is so successful because he has all-time comedic performances from his actors and his leads in all of his movies. If you think Knocked Up is probably Seth Rogen's best comedic performance, King of Staten Island, in my opinion, is Pete Davidson's best comedic performance, and Steve Carell is great, but 40-Year-Old Virgin is definitely up there. I don't think Judd Apatow really has any talent when it comes to directing. So I see that it's a pandemic making of film mockumentary movie thing, and I am not excited, but I really wasn't prepared for what was put in front of me. So, one of the worst films that I saw last year, or at least one of the films that I despised the most, was another Netflix film called Don't Look Up, nominated for multiple Oscars this year. Don't Look Up was one of the most heavy-handed films I've ever seen. And I don't really like Adam McKay as a director. It was just so all over the place. The editing was horrible. The message that they were trying to push across was just so forced. It was so like, hey kids. It was the Steve Buscemi like, hey kids meme with the skateboard and stuff. I don't know the context of it, but I hope you understand what I'm saying. This was so much worse. When I watched Don't Look Up, I felt upset. I was not happy with the product that had been put in front of me, and I was so upset that so many talented people were involved in making this product, yet none of the talent that any of them had remotely shone through. I hope it's shown through. God, this movie's making me brain dead. Here's the problem with The Bubble. The Bubble is Don't Look Up, except there aren't any talented people involved in it. Like, seriously, not even really a single one. It's a bunch of, like, has-been comedians and a bunch of SNL has-been comedians that don't really know how to do anything but sketch comedy or stand-up, and it's really, 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 really insufferable. That's what this was. This was a bunch of sketch comedy bits put together in attempting to make a coherent movie. And the reason why this was way more infuriating than Don't Look Up was, one, Don't Look Up had a story. Don't Look Up was relatively coherent. There was a beginning, middle, and end. There was a plot. There was a through line of themes and stuff like that. And even though the movie I thought was bad, I can appreciate it as a real movie. This, The Bubble, is not a real movie at all whatsoever. And since Don't Look Up made me feel angry, this movie made me feel absolutely nothing. It literally is a 2-hour-long lobotomy. And by the end of the film, you just have nothing in your brain. You can't form any thoughts. It's insufferable, but in the worst type of way where you just don't care and you just want it to be over. With Don't Look Up, I distracted myself enough by being upset about the film And therefore I invested a level of care in it, sunk cost fallacy. With this movie, The Bubble, I couldn't even remember the name for a second. I wanted it to be done more and more every single second. And it was just abhorrent. Now, if you're saying that, oh, Colin, it really doesn't sound like you're exerting as much effort as you usually do into your reviews or your video essays for that matter, you would 100% be right. All I am doing is affording the same courtesy that the film gave me, which was roughly negative, so I don't feel like I'm entitled, or it's entitled to a real review from me. So it's gonna get this. Fred Armisen, man. Love Fred Armisen in general. Was really, really bad in this. Love Keegan-Michael Key in general. Was really, really bad in this. Karen Gillan is really good in most things. She was in a really great Sundance film called Duel. Or really good, I wouldn't call it great, I'm sorry, I over-exaggerated. And she was awful in this. And I think I want to lead this into a bigger problem with this film, which is celebrity bandemic culture. I can't say the word, but the specific one that's happening right now. Do you remember when, of course you remember, when Gal Gadot and all of her besties decided to sing Imagine at the beginning of the pandemic because they thought that it would be fun and they thought that it was what the world needed right now? This is the cinematic version of that. This is like, oh my God, we've all been through so much in the past 2 years. Let's just have a little laugh at it. Oh my God, remember when we were all inside going crazy because everything was going wrong, even though we lived in like $10 million mansions and you all are struggling to afford your families and just basic everyday needs? Haha, that was so crazy. We're just like you guys, aren't we? It's like that, but an entire movie. Until the third act, where it gets even more nonsensical and over the top. If you wanted to punch me in the proverbial face, because you can't see me, I'm not using face cam footage, you bustafooligans. If you want to punch me in the proverbial face, you're gonna want to punch everyone in the face in this movie. It's so woe is us, and it's half woe is us, half trying to masquerade as a parody of woe is us, but you can definitely tell there's some authenticity behind it. I know that right now I sound like scribblings in a serial killer's journal, but I really hope I'm making at least a modicum of sense. It's so self-righteous, and it's like, haha, oh my God, celebrity is so crazy. Like, we all complain about like so random things and things that like don't really matter in the grand scheme of things, but like also at the same time, you're the celebrities doing the exact same thing, Mr. Apatow. So where do you get off self-parodying yourself when in reality you're already a parody of what you're parodying? Like, you're the exact thing you're parodying. Parodying? Parodying. Parroting? Oh my God. And I guess another problem I have with this film is, and it'll be the final problem, I promise. I'm not gonna like make like a 30-minute review of The Bubble. I'd rather die. The other thing is, I forgot. The other thing is that if this movie had been directed by someone who has experience in doing satire and parody and more intellectual comedy, I feel like the premise here of making a film during the whole quarantine process could have been pulled off effectively and actually really, really had something to say about the entertainment industry. But instead, Judd Apatow has all of the subtlety of an entire brick wall, because it's not just one brick, it's more than that. He has these visions of grandeur, and so it's a bigger thing than a brick. It's an entire brick wall. The Bubble is the worst movie of 2022 thus far, and to be honest with you, I don't think anything will pass it for being the worst film of 2022, because you know what? At least with I watch a lot of horrible movies on like Amazon Prime. At least with those movies, there's some level of passion behind it. Like, sure, the camera quality is awful and the acting is awful, but they wanted to make that movie. They really did, and they put everything that they possibly could into it. And I have to commend them for that. That's pretty freaking dope. You know what's not dope? Nothingness. Having, I'd probably say, at least $5 million into a budget and making it seem like a $10,000 production. The Bubble is horrible. 1 out of 10. I desperately hope that I never have to talk about this film again until we get to the best and worst of the year list, because it will definitely be at the bottom. That's it for this video. I don't want to talk about the Bubble, but you know what I do want to talk about? The summer of 2018 and how it was the last great summer for cinema, which will be my next video essay coming out either Wednesday or Thursday, depending on what I feel. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will talk to you soon. Goodbye. Sorry for all of the bull crap that I said in this review and it being rather rambly. I promise the next one will be better. I want to give you guys a kiss, but I can't. There, that'll have to be good enough. Okay, goodbye.